Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Corey, better known as the Seaman, and I want to welcome you to another edition of the Seaman's Cinema Sit Down. It's time to do something that I haven't done in a very long time, and usually when that's the case, I'm catching up on like a bunch of old trailers, and maybe we will do that. But I've actually got two from today and on one that's within the last 3-4 days. So I'm pumped to take a look at a couple trailers with you guys. And this first one I'm super psyched for. Season 1 was an absolute gem, and for me, a near flawless adaptation of the first game. And I can't wait to see what Mazin and Druckmann do with Season 2 in trying to tell the story of the second game. What are we talking about? Why don't you pull up a chair, take a seat? We are getting ready to look at the official teaser trailer for The Last of Us Season 2. And yeah, if you follow me, you know that I have an immense love for the original Last of Us game. It's probably in my top 5, like, since the moment I played it. And even Part 2 is a game I really, really enjoy. I've only played it once. I definitely need to go back and give it a replay before we get to Season 2. But it's one of those where it's a bigger game. It's a different kind of a story. And you could adapt it in several different ways. So I'm very interested and excited to see how Druckmann and Mazin are approaching Season 2. Especially with the success of Season 1. And if you know, you probably feel very similar when it comes to this story and like ways that you could tackle it on television. Because when I finished playing Part 2, I remember immediately thinking, I don't know if you could recreate the feelings and emotions that this game elicits by the end of the game in a different medium because of the gameplay aspect, right? Like when you play as a character, you have a far different tie to that character than when you're just watching on screen because you are doing and performing all of the actions. And there's some very interesting things at play with that in the game that I'm interested to see how Mazin and Druckmann could get the show to be as impactful as the game's storyline. So I'm stoked. Like, I love friggin' this cast and everybody here. Obviously, Pedro, Bella. I'm very excited for Caitlin Devers, and I will say, in regards to that, hearing that she has gotten hate mail and threats because she is playing a character on television is beyond insane. People need to be able to separate reality and fiction. And you can hate a character, but because somebody is doing their job to portray that character, should not elicit stuff like that. And I know the same thing happened with the woman who voiced Abby in the game, and like you hear stories about that and it's just insane. So certainly if you're doing that, stop that. And if you're thinking, don't ever. Like, this is a person doing their job. And like I said, for people that are true fans of the game and really like the Part 2 story, Devers is going to have a major role to play. And I'm psyched to see how she's adapted and how they handle Abby and different things. And I'm going to stop yapping and let's start watching. So let's get the trailer up for you guys. I got it in front of me. Let's waste no more time and take a look at the official teaser trailer for HBO original The Last of Us Season 2. Oh, I love her. Look at that, man. Certainly capturing the vibe of the town, like, quite well. Acclaimed HBO original series. Yeah. Ooh, that scene. It's going to be one to keep an eye on. Oh, there's Devers, dude. She looks spot on. Also, the drama of the show is so good. Sometimes I forget that there's zombies involved. I don't think I knew he was in there. That's gonna be so good. 2025. Max, the one to watch. That looks great. One, I think the thing that I'm probably liking the most in this scenario is the tone of the trailer. Like the music and the background vibes as you're watching everything. I love that they go like no dialogue and just imagery with that sound design as you kind of get through like the back half of the trailer here. But it's the kind of tone where like y'all know me. I'm usually a little chatty sometimes during trailer reactions, especially when it's something that they're adapting that I know things about, and I'm usually. But it's like I just became so locked in because it immediately brought me back, at least emotionally, to the things that you get tied to in the game. And just that vibe through this like whole back stretch here, where like obviously you want that ominous tone, but like it just like it puts you in a place of dread. I think is a good way to describe like what this buildup is feeling like. And then the needle drop here, it captures what the game does to you. Like it brings you to these such intense moments that have real emotional backlash, and that's the one image I think that stands out obviously. And I like that they're back to back. But it's like that. Oh man, I'm so bad at the pausing game. You guys know this too. This one here, where you. Oh come on. One day I'll be good at this. I promise. But the. There we go. Got it finally. That shot. That's something that like immediately jumps at me from the trailer. And part two is certainly a highly emotionally charged story for Ellie in part two. And, you know, you're going to, I guess, like mild spoilers, but I think season one tees it up pretty well. But you're going to, you know, Joel's going to be dealing with the conflict and the guilt of what he does at the end of season one, right? The lie that he tells Ellie. And Ellie's fallout and just where her journey takes her. That is, and to follow it with Joel rolling a tear, like it's just that for me is the perfect synergy of the connection of what part two story does to the game player, right? Like the way that you can get tied emotionally, and there is horrific things for Ellie. Like you think it can't get worse after season one, but naturally I think we've all realized the older we get, the worse that type of stuff can get just because of the situations you're in. And getting to see what their functions are inside of the town and where that takes them is one that I'm really excited to see. But I think those two images that clearly they're right at the end of the trailer, and the two that certainly stand out the most when you're watching it, really capture, I think, the vibe and the energy that you're going to have going into part two. It is one of those things where I remember talking with like some friends of mine, and like the initial reception game wise like wasn't phenomenal. And I'm not gonna lie, you guys, like there are a lot of elements of part two that I think work and function even better than part one. While part one is certainly so iconic, like it's why I need to go back and replay the game, because I just remember playing it going like this. You found ways to elevate something that like had such a high bar to reach in the first place, but it came out right at the beginning of the pandemic, and it's a very, very dark, dour game. Like it's kind of like, I mean, season one certainly gives you some of those vibes, but there's like a lot of enjoyment in playing through that original game. And I enjoyed playing the second one, but mentally and emotionally, it just kind of takes you to these images. And that's the type of stuff, or not images, but those feelings, right, that you get in these images. And that's the type of stuff for me that I think makes a great story. You can bring somebody to a like horrific image that also can then get you to a place where you can emotionally connect and roll a tear or two. It's something season 1 did certainly very, very well, I think, in this trailer. Like I said, those are two images that pop big right at the end, and I think for sure establish what you're going. Pup sitting happens, but I think it does do a good job of establishing like the vibes that you're going to get. And then I said it like when they first popped up, like when you were seeing like that first wide shot of like all of those zombies coming. It's like, oh yeah, you forget that like there are zombie creatures in here, and especially in 2, because 2 is something where you start to see so many of the other factions and groups of people that exist in the world. And that's one of those things where like so much of the gameplay sometimes is going through these places. Like there was one shot of Ellie where she's like in the forest, and that's not it. But like through like these types of sections, like the imagery that I was seeing greenery wise or like forest wise brings me right back to that like stretch of gameplay. Certainly the winter vibes with Abby, and seeing her go through her story beats, and some of that imagery lines up really nice. We know from season 1, but like the town just in and of itself captured so well here and represents it, I think, in a way that's even better than in the game. Because you don't get to like, I don't remember, but I don't feel like I guess you do move through the town a little bit. That's why it looks like that. Brain sometimes. But, and I like that, like, you get at the top, that's the other thing too, is like seeing more of Ellie and Joel's connection, right? It's the thing that drives season 1 so well and is true. And until Joel has to truly confront what he did in season 1, his relationship with Ellie is able to grow and function much like a father-daughter relationship. And that shot there, right? Like and you hear them say what you gotta say. Like you can see it in Joel's face, just grappling with like knowing that he took something from Ellie and Ellie doesn't know it. And that certainly starts to unravel the vibes and the feels of the game that you kind of go through as you play through. And that's where it's like you're teeing up, like anything in this world that feels good is not going to be very long until you get to a space where it suddenly is feeling less good, and it has to get violent and it has to get dangerous, and all the vibes that you want from the show that were there in season 1, I think are really spot on here. And I think Kaitlyn Devers looks fantastic. Very excited. Like another one of those, like you'll notice most of the people in these images are all kind of freaking messed up emotionally. And Abby's story is another emotional roller coaster. And wow, I can't wait to see Bella take Ellie to the next places she's got to go. Devers is somebody that I have liked for a very long time, and this is a job that I think she's going to knock out of the ballpark. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun to see that, even though it is going to be a rough watch. But yeah, I don't know, man. The trailer captures the vibe, with the music. And then when you start to see the more intense images, we just go, that sound like that's such a good audio move. But I'm certainly excited to see more from the different factions, feel her love, like the different things. Like you have more than just the Fireflies out there. And that's going to be a lot of fun, I think, to take on. I'm certainly excited for Jeffrey Wright. I love anytime he pops up literally anywhere. And then I think one of the things that's real interesting, seeing Catherine O'Hara here at the beginning, I can't remember Joel's storyline running through therapy at all. So those are the types of add-ons and things that I expect from Mazin and Druckmann to come together and get to things that could be different. And taking Joel's character this way, especially if that's kind of like the overarching kind of connector, like through the, like you could see how like these conversations could happen or be happening in retrospect to whatever's going on in any given episode. I think that'd be a really interesting emotional place to take it for Joel. And I mean, anytime O'Hara pops up, like, you get super excited. So yeah, I think I've been rambling long enough. I love this franchise. I love this story. And I think in the sparse imagery that we get here, once again, looks like HBO, Druckmann, and Mazin are nailing it. And I'm just very excited to see where we go, even though I'm telling y'all, it's a tougher watch than season one. It takes you to places. The more you learn about these characters and their trauma, it touches real things, and that is both exciting, but also like, oh man, we got to deal with real things. So I'm just trying to make sure y'all know this was like, I wasn't ready for this story when I played it, and I love when I can get emotional. Anyway, so like I said, I'm shut up. I'm flipping over to you. What are you excited about for season 2? What are you seeing here if you've played the game that you're getting excited about? Which imagery pieces, what elements of the game you can see them playing with here? Have you psyched or maybe not psyched? Maybe concerned, worried? Do you have any worries for season 2? How do you think they're going to tackle the story? Do you think they do all of part 2 in season 2? Do you think they break it up into 2 seasons? Do they do something different? Anything you got? And if you haven't played, just in the trailer, what's getting you excited? What are you nervous about based on the images you see? Anything you got? Good, bad, indifferent? Put it down below in the comment section. Look forward to talking to you down there. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're new, you want to come hang out, see me anytime. We're talking movies, TV, trailer, reactions. You want to be here for when we get ready to watch Last of Us Part 2, which of course won't be till 2025. But 2025 is quickly approaching and knocking at the door. And certainly for my coverage, I'll sync it up with gameplay and make sure you guys are all seeing the cool things they pull from that and where the story comes from. So if you're here for that stuff, that's certainly going to be on the way. We're doing it with some Penguin right now, and I got to get into Agatha all along, but back with some reactions, more movie reviews and things coming. So if you dig that, you dig the vibes, you want to see what other trailers we watch, you want to show a little love and support, the old C-Man will come join C-Maniac Nation. Super easy. Jump over there, hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell if you want those alerts. And until next time, for the C-Man's Cinema, sit down. I've been the C-Man. I'm signing off. Peace. Hey, what's up, C-Maniac Nation? Winter Ken here, where we grow out our roots and our beard, letting you know that you can see some new C-Man videos right up here and right down here. And if you want all those videos and show that man a little love and support, come join C-Maniac Nation right over there, and the C-Man will catch you on the next one.